Hello everyone, this is Starman, and welcome back to Let's Play Betrayal at Krondor. Well, last time, remember, we traveled to Sarf and discovered that we did not have a copy of a Book of Macross here, but they did give us a hint as to where to go, in this case, Elvandar. And just a further test of fury. Yeah, Evil Seek does not work on rogues, because scoundrels though they are not evil. They're just in it for the money. So anyway, we are going to travel to the other place where we can go to find out exactly what is going on here in the western part of the kingdom and find a clue as to where to go next. As soon as we take care of these rogues. Which, even with the rather disastrous start we've had, we still made fairly easy work of these fellows. And we'll go ahead and rust Owen up to full here. And check their bodies real quick, and, well, heck, even though he's not a caster, he had some Luton's concentrate. Okay, yeah, those are safe. Make sure we take the right one back. And okay, I think that's enough for now. At any rate, we discovered one of the ways that you can learn that you're supposed to go to Elvandar next. But we're going to go ahead and explore the next one, and it appears that scorpions have taken over the area outside the Temple of Sung, so we will step in and help them out, of course, and why they happen to be here, I have no idea, but I never thought that I'd find fighting a giant scorpion easy, but there we go. And let's stop in and check on the folks in the temple. And we get the whole thing about the priestess being mute again. Okay, we have no idea why the scorpions were swarming here, but at least good deed, job well done, and all that. And we just take a little bit more down the road south to Krondor. And another ambush sign. We seem to be dodging quite a few of these now. And I think we'll go ahead and head back into town, even though I don't think we'll get any more out of Nevik. The tax collector snored. Despite Owen's repeated attempts to revive him from his drunken stupor, his efforts have proved to be fruitless. Seems like someone else come along and soften him up, Owen sighed. We'll just have to find out the significance of his key on our own. Well, it turns out that the key has no real significance, but Anyway, so the other lead that we get as to figuring out where to go, finding out the riddle of the Book of Macross, is that we head to Abbot Graves in Malac's Cross. So that is what we shall do after cutting through Darkmoor first. And of course we'll go ahead and swing in, earn a bit of money barding, and continue on eastward. A woman was moving down the road. Judging by her pace and the way she was looking over her shoulder, she seemed to be concerned that someone might be pursuing her. Afraid that the woman might be in danger of some harm, Owen called to her. "Hey, it's Grand Patruma. What are you doing out on this road? You're not thinking of going into Malac's Cross, are you?" "Actually, the abbot of the abbey's bishop betrayed his students in his town, and it's besieged by some kind of monsters. I should have known that I couldn't escape the evil that brought down Sefnin, and luckily your elf friend here has something to do with it." "Goraf has nothing to do with it, I assure you. Why are these monsters, and what are these monsters? Why would they be attacking Malac's Cross of all places?" "If you value your lives, you'll help the villagers find the abbot and deliver his head on a stake to those snake men. They've promised to leave everyone else alive if the abbot is turned over to them." "If these are indeed some kind of monsters, what makes you think they'd be satisfied with killing an abbot?" "Who's for knowing? As for my own self, I'll be in Darkmoor drinking up the... Oh my, I've left my ale in the Queen's Row in Malac's Cross. Now you'll have none of the brew for weeks unless you brave, you courageous boys can go and fetch it for me." "We have quite a few other things to attend to." "Oh, please, it'll brighten up an old Mrs. Day, especially one who hasn't a good home anymore. If you can get it, if you could come and bring it to me friend Ullum's house in Darkmoor, that's where I'll be staying for a bit." "I'll see what we can do, but I can't promise you anything." "That's fine, love, just fine. I'll see you then. And remember that my friend's name is Ullum. Good traveling to yous." "And to you as well. Be careful on the way to Darkmoor, all 30 feet till you get there." Right, so this does bring up an interesting point, because you might remember that we can travel directly to the Abbey of Ishap in Malac's Cross, and there is a Temple of Rufia right around the bend here. So if we try and go, pay the 49 gold to go a couple hundred feet down the road, the acolyte stopped. "I do not fully understand," he started. "A disturbance surrounds Malac's Cross precludes any teleporting there. I'm sorry, but from this end there is nothing I can do." So, based on the description that Grand Patruma gave us, it sounds like Panathian serpent men have laid siege to Malac's Cross. Thankfully, we are awesome enough at this point. I think we can deal with them. There's one. The enemy approached. Unsure as how to best deal with the situation, Goraf Shah glanced at Owen. "Serpent men," he observed coldly. "I would have all of them dead." "You may get your wish," Owen replied, "assuming they don't kill us first." And they just cast Strength Drain. An unfortunate flux. Okay, so they've Strength Drained Owen. So he's not going to be much help in a fight. And oddly enough, Evil Seek does not do nearly as much damage as you'd think it would to an Evil Snake Priest. But... dead, dead, and dead. Of course, there's still a ton of them. So I'll have to go back, rest a bit, move forward again. And we got 5 of them now, and now they're Strength Draining Goraf, and froze Goraf solid. And they're doing Mind Melt on Owen. And thankfully the one that didn't freeze Owen. Soul Strength draining Gorath, and unfortunately that is going to take Owen out of the fight. And we're dead. Alright, well, thankfully I did save the game right before we went in. Unfortunately, we did that before the first combat started. So maybe if we try going a little further north. And pick out that first group. And Owen gets frozen first. This is not going to end well. And the second one hits Gorath, and we're dead. And another ice ball just for good measure. Oh, and one more. Yeah, why not? Yeah, let's throw another one in there. Okay. I just had to brag on myself, didn't I? I had to talk about how awesome we are now and how a bunch of these snake men aren't going to present much of a challenge. Oh, that's just fine. Now, I was able to just sneak in using that fog spell. And we'll go ahead and play this hand we've been dealt. Owen motioned to the figure across the room. The man walked over to join them. He stood before them, eyebrows arched inquisitively. Brave customers tonight. I thought I was going to tin the hoff with these puny lads. Have we merited bravery, barkeep? Haven't you heard the stories? Why, there's snake people about roaming the streets stealing babes from their mother's arms and giving sheep the blue heaves. Stole the gambles right off of nursemaid Finch's house and plugged up the guards at the Abbey Ishap. You don't seem to have any difficulties. Ah, no, I wouldn't. I just lives here, and I don't have to tread the roads. Can't just close up shop with some prattling student elects to rumble the locals. So you think this is all part of a prank? Come off it, lad. Snakes that look like people running out stealing chickens. If it's not a joke, then I'm a Gwali's uncle. Of course it's a prank. What'd you take me for, an old buggering gaffer? Now what can I do for you two? Well, you can ask about Patrum. Do you know a lady who goes by the name Patruma? She comes in, drinks on occasion. You looking for her? Actually, no, ran into her, and she said she left something behind the last time she was in here and asked us to pick it up for her. I'll say she left something behind. Keg of Keshian ale. Good thing I didn't drain it myself. I'll get it for you before you go. Alright, well, let's check out the temple. You have picked an inconvenient time for a visit. I have a business to attend to. Why would Panathians be interested in attacking the Abbey Ishap, and why would they blame you for it? The citizens are terrified, fleeing the city for fear of their lives. They blame you, Abbot. Please, I don't know what would make these accusations. I'm not responsible. I will not be responsible. If you're thinking of fleeing the city, I wouldn't advise it. We've been told that some of the townspeople intend to make you a prison to the Panathians as a prisoner. The Panathians... I've always called it Panathians, but... Panathians. Panathians. Let's go with Panathians. The Panathians don't take prisoners. They kill once they make up their minds on a target. It would be murder. It seems to me that the Panathians are willing to do worse than that to Malic's Cross if you don't turn over to them. Why don't you tell us why they're here? Perhaps we can help you if you help us. Greed. They're here because a certain spineless brother of the Abbey Ishap looked up and said, I am meant for greater things than this. He was unscrupulous, unflinching, dedicated to a singular selfish cause. With as little conscience as a man has when swatting a fly, he arranged that his abbot should be caught for a sum of money that was discovered missing from the brother's coffers. Naturally, the brother then assumed the abbot's place. You. But you weren't able to keep the secret, were you? Someone discovered your deception. My plan was seamless, as perfect as the most perfect pearl, but somehow he found out, so we struck an arrangement. The crawler agreed to silence, so long as I periodically contacted Pug and arranged a magical tutor to be sent periodically to Malic's Cross. The tutor never knew that not all the men they trained were nobles, and things went relatively well for 4 years. Then Pug discovered the truth from one of the crawler's men in Krondor. Pug withdrew his tutor, stripped us of our books, and left me incapable of fulfilling the duties of my secret deal. So the crawler made a new demand. Since I could no longer train his rogues, I was to uncover a certain magical relic for him or forfeit my life. I refused, and his Panathian masters were not pleased. I responded with a few of the boys that Pug's advisors had taught magic nobles, but apparently they were overmatched. The relic the crawler wanted. Was it a book by any chance? I will say no more. The time has come that I must make arrangements for my escape from Malac's Cross, and you two may be my only hope. Find Mitchell Waylander and tell him what has happened, and tell him I don't want anyone else hurt. Once he's made his arrangements, return here and tell me what I must do. What? We can't help a criminal escape justice? The men and women of Malac's Cross aren't all concerned about the criminality of my axe boy. They know nothing of them. All they know is that the Panathians have asked for my skin, and they will do anything they can to protect themselves, even if it means turning over an innocent man. That is the justice they believe in. If you can still find me guilty after your deliberations, then don't bother coming back. Yeah, it's a little less cut and dry and evil in the case of the novel. In Krondor the Betrayal, Owen and Gorath happen back through Malac's Cross as they're returning from meeting with Prince Aruf in the field to deliver James's message. And the Panathians are not laying siege to the city, but they do discover that Abbot Graves is in the middle of packing up and getting ready to flee the city because he was being blackmailed by the crawler, but not because of any misdeeds. It was because Abbot Graves was, as mentioned earlier when he had a talk with James, before becoming a priest of Ishap, Brother Graves was, or Father Graves rather, was a member of the Mockers and an ex-thief. And when he joined the Brotherhood, he thought he was honestly leaving his life behind him. But there was a woman, a girl thief in the Mockers named Kat, who he was fond of, and apparently the crawler discovered that he had a relationship with her. It was never explained if it was more father-daughter or more older man, younger woman, May-December romance. But whatever the case, the crawler discovered this, started threatening Kat's life, and blackmailed Abbot Graves into providing his men with magical training. Same in different means, and it doesn't leave a bunch of snake men parading around the middle of the kingdom, as it does in the game here. And the relationship between Graves and Kat is made a little bit more clear in the book than it is here, because it's pretty clear, based on what we know, that this artifact that Abbot Graves was looking for was the idol of Lazar, and that Kat has some connection to him. But this all gets made clear in the book, and in case I haven't said before, if you can track down a copy of Krondor the Betrayal, it is a very good book, given its origin as a novelization of a video game, and I know that's usually a bad sign, but as I think you're seeing with this playthrough, this is not your typical game based on a fantasy book series, and Krondor the Betrayal is not your typical fantasy novel based on novelization of a game set based on the books. But that's neither here nor there. Now we have to get our way back out of this. And I'm going to need to Dragon's Breath our way out of here. Alamafra kufa speta dontientiente. So we have the information we need, but I am going to go ahead and try and clear this out because I don't want to have to keep fogging and sneaking. Plus, I think if we approach from this angle, and they just freeze, and instantly a grief of 1,000 nights. And this will probably kill Gorath off. Yep. Okay, we surprised the enemy for once, although this is a much smaller group. Wow, these guys are much tougher than I'd expect. Alright, well, we got one of them down. Okay, so different group there. Okay, this one surprised us, and they froze Owen, which means we're probably doomed to fail already, but let's give it a shot. And damn. I will do this. Okay, they strength gain. I'd hoped that maybe by approaching on the left we would have more room to move, but not to be. Oh, Lord be praised, it only struck me with lightning. Well, it occurs to me that this might be time to use, because anything that can keep them distracted from casting. Of course, they can freeze the dogs, apparently. But if it distracts them from the spellcaster... Okay, here's that mob of 5 of them. And they froze Gorath, but as long as I can get an Evil Seek off, we've got a chance at this. Or alternatively... And one more for good measure. I think that might have gotten all of them. Yep, that did it. We have rid Malac's Cross of the Panathian, however you say it, menace. And now we go west to deliver that cask of ale to that drunk old lady. Patruma opened the door. Surprising alert for an elderly lady who had made a trek from Malac's Cross to Darkmoor unescorted, she greeted them with a broken-toothed smile and motioned for them to come in. Shaking his head, Owen remained rude in the doorway. Sorry, we really don't have time to check in, he apologized. We just wanted to check in, or come in. We just wanted to check in and see that you made the troop safely. Oh, aye, she replied in her thick burr. That I did. And what of you fellows? Did you by chance get me my cask I left at the Queen's Row? That we did, Owen said, giving Gorath a meaningful glance as he handed over the cask. Just where you left it. A better lad I couldn't hope for, she gushed, taking the cask. Once she had set it inside the door, she put her fingers next to her mouth and whistled. Oi, Adam, where'd you put those things I told you? From the back of the house, they could hear a number woman's voice replying, though they couldn't exactly hear what was said. Nodding, Patruma told them to wait a moment longer, disappearing inside the dark interior. Here it is, she said, appearing after a few moments. With a quick motion, she shoved a few trinkets into Owen's hand. Nothing all that special, really, but you keep 'em, all right? Again, the voice from the back of the house rose, but this time the words were faintly discernible. And don't you let him in the house, pet! Strangers are nothing but trouble. Rolling her eyes, Patruma sighed apologetically. Sorry, I've got to go before Olam lays a cow. Thanks again, gents. So, what did we get for helping this old lady? Well, it looks like we got a book. No, wait, we already had the book. I think we've read this note already. Yeah. Well, okay, I can't tell exactly what we got, but we did get to help an old lady get drunk. And isn't that what adventuring is all about in the end? Well, it is for me. Anyway, we will now have a bit less trouble getting back into Malac's Cross in the future, but we do have to go talk to Mitchell Waylander on behalf of the abbot. Which means that we're going to have to head eastward towards Sloop. But we were going to head off that way to explore a bit anyway. Because oddly enough, there are a few quests in the eastern part of the kingdom, away from where the storyline takes us. But also because I wanted to stop by the Temple of Limbs Krogma. And why? Well, because we have an armor and some weapons to bless. And Owen Owen definitely needs to have his armor fixed. And we can't just switch the armor around. Okay, well, don't need the note, don't need the book. Honestly, I'm not going to need that anymore, and yeah, we'll ditch that for the moment. So with that done, and as long as we're here, we also should go check up on the Oracle of Al, because it turns out the Panathians are giving her some trouble as well. Or, well, I thought there were Panathians blocking the road here. So now we can ask the Oracle about the Book of Macross. There's a book we need to find. It's called the Book of Macross. How may we find it? Actually, it might be the Book of Macros. You chase phantoms, for the book you named does not exist, though the spirit of it burns brightly. I don't understand. You mean what we're looking for is alive? Go to the Abbey of Ishap at Sarf and find the knowledge held within the vaults. Your answers lie there. And Pug. Where has Pug gone to? What does the Book of Macross have to do with it? Pug has been betrayed by one he believed to be a friend. Even now he wanders a distant world in search of his daughter Gamina, but he will not find her. In his search he will reawaken forces sleeping since the Valhur waged their wars across the universe. The Book of Macross will be the instrument by which you are able to save him. But how can I be of any help? If he can't protect himself, there's little Goraf and I can do. Where he falters, you will grow strong. The way has been prepared for you. So yeah, we get an uncharacteristically straightforward answer from the Oracle there. And because we do not actually have to head this way, there is much less in the way of ambushes and combats and such, as I recall. But we might as well head this way and pay a visit to Nina, who always gives us a nice discount on our rations. And a little bit of an oddity, you'll remember that the road to Sephinon is not too far from here. We had to fight our way through a bunch of ghosts originally, but this time the way is actually open if you haven't gone to Sephinon already, but by this point you probably already have all the spells that can be found in the treasure trove there. Welcome to the Six-Toe Tavern, and oh, hello again! I hadn't seen you since you came through last. You were headed towards Krondor in quite a hurry, if I recall. Orel, wasn't it? And your elf friend here was Thorgaff? What? Oh, yes, Thorgaff, certainly, but my name is Owen. We were passing back through, and I thought we'd stop in for a rest or something neat. If it's a rest you're after, then you're more than welcome to have a seat, but all my food's been requisitioned. Requisitioned? By whom? By the Krondorian Lancers, or at least that's who the captain said they were. He said the prince requested that I turn over my provisions for them. They compensate me for my trouble, 1,000 sovereigns. Congratulations! Any plans for your newfound wealth? No, not really. I think I'll just concentrate on tidying up things around here. Maybe find a dashing young seigneur or baronet who needs a rich mistress. Where do I stand in line? Sorry, but I already have someone in mind. Let's say I make it up to you for a bottle of port. Obviously, I couldn't let the soldiers take everything, so I kept a few bottles to sell until I restocked here. Why don't you take a look at the stock? One bottle does sound good, doesn't it, Thorgaff? I could get you something to get the dust out of my throat. I'm not certain that's wise, Owen. Oh, Posh, I'll fetch your bottle from the back. And it looks like we can, in fact, get rations here. At a very generous rate of 4 sovereigns for a pack of 14. Which will let us stock our provisions quite well. And just for the heck of it, we'll go ahead and swing west a bit, see if there is anything on the road toward Egley. Doesn't look like it. Alright, well, I think that was a fair bit of adventuring done for today. So we'll go ahead and cut back toward Lighton real quick. And we'll go ahead and close this chapter out here, and next time we will continue eastward and on towards Sloop to meet with Mitchell Waylander and do a little bit more exploring on the eastern side of the area we can explore. We'll see you then.